When China wants to send a message to Japan, it doesn't always fire a missile. Sometimes it cancels your movies. Sometimes it blocks your seafood. Sometimes it squeezes your supply chain with dual-use export controls so broad that almost anything can be argued to have military value. And that's why what's being called the Takaichi shock matters, because China roared and Tokyo didn't flinch. Let's break it down. This latest clash started after Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi made remarks linking Taiwan's security to Japan's national security, language Beijing treats as a red line. China's response wasn't subtle. Reports show Beijing moved quickly with economic and cultural pressure, suspensions of Japanese seafood imports, disruptions around Japanese entertainment releases, and a wider chill designed to make Japan feel pain without triggering a direct military confrontation. Then came the bigger lever, trade controls. China announced tighter restrictions on exports of dual-use items to Japan, meaning goods that can be used for civilian and military purposes. And here's the point. Dual use can be as narrow or as wide as the enforcer wants. It can hit materials, components, sensors, chemicals, the kinds of inputs that modern industries can't easily replace overnight. China also launched an anti-dumping probe into a key semiconductor-related chemical, dichlorosilane, which sends a second signal. This isn't only politics, it's a pressure campaign that can reach deep into industrial policy. Now, I'm Imran, a Middle East-based analyst, and I want to keep this neutral. China is testing a strategy the world has already seen before, using economic tools to shape geopolitical outcomes. But here's what's different. Japan didn't panic. Tokyo protested diplomatically, called the measures unacceptable, and crucially didn't walk back the Taiwan line in the way Beijing likely wanted. That's what "didn't flinch" really means here. Not that Japan is immune to pressure, but that it's signaling it won't be coerced by economic punishment every time it speaks. And that creates the bigger strategic story. This is not just a Japan-China argument. It's a live demonstration of how 21st century power works. Control key inputs, threaten access, and force your rival to choose between policy and prosperity. So what happens next? If China tightens the screws further, Japan accelerates diversification. Different suppliers, different markets, more domestic resilience, and deeper coordination with partners. If Japan holds firm, China has a choice too: escalate and risk pushing Japan further away, or quietly stabilize to avoid damaging its own trade and regional influence. And there's one more wildcard: South Korea. As Japan and China clash, Seoul becomes a swing player, courted by both sides, which can reshape the regional balance without a single shot being fired. So here's the real question I want you to think about. If economic coercion becomes the new normal in Asia, who's next? If you want calm, no-hype breakdowns of the biggest geopolitical shifts, hit like, subscribe, and share. It helps this channel grow. And comment below, do you think Japan can outlast this pressure? Or does China's supply chain leverage eventually force a retreat?